fans, welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Raul, and this week I'm going to feature a build I did here of a 78 Little Red Express truck. Definitely a muscle truck for its time, and I've heard some say it's the first of performance trucks, but there were a few that came before it, like the Dude. It was a 71, and a few other cars, but still a very cool truck. And I don't feature much trucks. I really don't build a whole lot of trucks, but I have built a few. But I like trucks. It just haven't really built too many of them. But this is one I had to build, especially since there was a kit of it. But when it came to 1978, this was a special package, standard cab, step side bed, and came with a very special 360 police package motor, basically. And no cats, and rated at 225 horsepower and 295 foot-pounds of torque, so pretty powerful for 1978, especially when you think about the Corvette was 185 horsepower and 175 for California editions of the Corvette. So this car was actually rated by Motor Trend to be the fastest American-produced vehicle of 1978. The catcher is the 0 to 100 miles an hour. So this was, as they tested, the fastest vehicle of 1978. 0 to 100 as U.S. market vehicles. So I thought that was worth noting. But when they did it and they got there, they went with the 360 engine, and it was pretty much the police package engine. The concept car had 5 more horsepower. But another thing that made this thing quite the accelerator was when you look at the Corvette, even though the L82 engine was rated at 220 horsepower, this is 5 horsepower more, but it's in a heavier truck. This came with a 355 sure grip rear end, which, not a big deal, but my 1978, even your gear options were limited. The Corvette came with 308 or 336, and if you're lucky, you can get the 370 in the L82. But that was the Corvette. But this one, they all came with 355 gears in the Little Red Expresses. And they did build a few different variants of it. But for 78, it was a low production vehicle. 2188 were made. Compared to 79, the package really took off, and they made 5118. And just a wonderful truck. What's kind of interesting about the trucks, 78 and 79, they're red, but they're two different reds. But one was a bright red, and the other one was just a shade darker. The 79 was just a shade darker. But the 78 had no cats. It had 440 mufflers, the big block mufflers under it. And some of the weird quirks and weird features of 78, because there are some differences between 78 and 79. Like, it's got the 15 by 7s in the front and 15 by 8s in the back. In 78, they were staggered sizes. So the front tires were like G60 15s or something like that. And the rears were LR 50 15s in the back on 8-inch wide wheels. And the fronts were GR 60 15s. So it was staggered size, but 79 had the same size front and back. They were 15 by 8s all the way around. And the 78 had the 100-mile-an-hour speedometer in the trucks. In 79, they went to the federally mandated 85-mile-an-hour speedos. Even though these trucks were capable of 120, if you were going faster than that, you had no idea what your speed was. And these stacks, all the Little Red Expresses had them. And I understand that the stacks were not shipped on the truck, that they were in the bed of the truck, so sometimes they were stolen or missing upon delivery. But these were, due to transit reasons, they were shipped in the bed of the truck and installed at the dealership. Another interesting fact is that this vehicle was not available in all 50 states, even though it was technically emissions legal. There were 4 or 5 states that you could not buy it in. Yeah, you could not buy this vehicle in California, Maryland, Florida, Oregon, or Washington. But it had nothing to do with the emissions. It was about the noise ordinance, because the exhaust was loud and it was not legal in those states. Even though some had gotten into those states, but officially none were sold in California. for 78 and 79, even though 79 had cats. So when it came to this build, this is mostly out of the box, not exactly out of the box. Those of you guys are familiar with the kit, the MPC kit. I did do a few changes. Most noticeable is the mirrors. I changed the base. I kind of made my own little base and tried to make it as accurate as I could. They still kind of stick out kind of far, but that was the best I could do with what I had. So the main mirror part is from the kit, but instead of having the tripod, I made a new base and stuck it on there. Decals are right from the kit, which I really like this kit. It's too bad. I hope that it comes back out again, but I've already built a couple of them. But I probably would like to build a Warlock version or a Midnight Express, because Keith Marks makes the decals for that, so I can make a black one. I didn't really do anything to the interior. Kind of interesting that it's got a hole in there for a shifter, but probably for the 4x4 variant. But it's got the bucket seats, and I did it in black in the wood. Don't know if you can see in there that well. And then the underside, all stock. See, no cats on this one. Automatic transmission, which I think I swapped that. I don't remember the kit having an automatic transmission. I'm pretty sure I swapped that. But and I got the 360 engine in there. I'd have to look back on my build notes, because I did build this a while ago. This build is over 15 years old. But I had to dust it off and clean it up. And here, I got to show you the engine though, because that's something I'm still very proud of. Let's get this open. Here we go. There we go. Look at that. Nice 360 engine. I'm pretty sure that came from the Duster. Like, it's a 340 from the Duster. And then if you notice the air cleaner and the hoses and snorkels, this is something I had resin cast. And because I was doing two of these at the time, I actually did a 79 and a 78, but I'm focusing on a 78. And then these snorkels here, the cold air induction. It's a signature part of the Little Red Express package, the cold air induction. So I had to replicate that, even though the rest of the engine compartment is pretty simple in typical MPC fashion. So I did all those. So how I did that, I still have my Masters. I can't believe I still have these after all these years, since I dug out my box of Masters. Here's the main air cleaner, and if I remember right, that's from the 71 Duster, and I cut the snorkels off. So I took the dual snorkels off of it. But the snorkels that are on here now, I'm pretty sure those came from the AMT Hurst Olds 69 442, the Hurst Olds edition. It has snorkels like this instead of the 69 W30 package has the tubes on it, but their snorkels are different. And these were pretty close to what the factory had. And I had a couple of those parts kits because I've used a lot of those. So I cut those snorkels off and glued them on this. And then I end up resin casting this and made a few of those. My molds are gone now, but I still have this as my master, so I could make more, although there's no real reason for me to do so, because it came out really, really sweet. But then how I did these ducts, get this. Here's one of mine that when I built back then. If you recognize it, this is just regular 12 gauge wire. You see the copper wire in there? That's just 12 gauge wire. Now I stripped off some insulation, and I had wrapped a piece of copper wire around it, just all the way around, spread it out, spaced it to where I want it, and I put some heat shrink tube on there, and then I hit it and heated it. So that became my flexible duct. These are really cool, and I was really happy with the way they came out. And then you can bend them, because they're wire, you can bend them to whatever shape you need, and cut them to length, and glue them. And they actually worked out really well. So I did two of these. So there's another way to make a duct if anybody's ever done one. And the sizing came out really nice and pretty accurate for the car. So really happy with the way that came out. But haven't had these out in a while, so I had to really clean it off and dust it off and get the hood. Now the 78s have the round headlight grill and the 78 grill and the 78 hood. The 79s have a different grill with 4 square headlights, different hood, and the cowl is a little bit different. So making a 79 a little bit different, but pretty much the same truck as far as in scale and how you build it. But I figured you guys would enjoy this. I know trucks are pretty hot and it's seldom seen on my side. And I plan to do some more trucks. I got a few others, but they're more modern trucks like the Chevy 454 SS and the Cyclone. Don't have a Lightning, but some of the more modern trucks. Wish they actually made a model of the S10 Extreme 1999, the accurate body, because I actually own one of those if you've seen my tour video. But I'm fortunate enough to have most of my cars are not available in scale easily. But would love to build that, but figured you guys would enjoy this. It's a truck. It's a little bit different, but just wanted to show it to you. And it is a muscle truck. Pretty bad to the bone, 15-second quarter-mile times. Figured you would enjoy it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing and all your comments and sharing my videos. I appreciate it. And you guys, you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next Saturday.